So unfortunately, like the story and the characters, it was kind of hard to care about a lot. I mean, I liked Leif, like
I think he was the most realistic character.
Yeah.
And that's not saying a whole lot, but he was the
Right.
most realistic character out of all of them, it
right.
seemed.
So I like that he had that past of being Leif the merciless, you know.
Yeah.
And then now he's like the merciful Leif,
Right.
the merciful.
He didn't compromise when he got questioned on
Yeah,
it. He's like,
right.
no, that's who I am. That's what I'm going to do.
Like I've already had my history. I've done my bloodshed,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to do that anymore. You know?
Right.
And his character, like I thought, was very interesting to me, going through all that, but also staying true to you know, and supportive, as much as Sigrid put him through.
Yeah,
He's still stuck with, you know.
Right, he was
for the most
100%
part.
devoted to her, which was very cool. Like even though he did not agree, or it got to a certain point where it's like, it's
call this
done.
off,
Let's
man.
call this. It's over.
Yeah.
And she basically doubles down on it or whatever,
Yeah.
which, you know, that's cool. That's her character. You know,
Right,
and
yeah.
I'm glad she didn't compromise. I'm glad she was that
Right.
uncompromising character. But yeah, he gets questioned. He gets called out.
Yeah.
Essentially, you know, you got to make a choice because she tells him to go, and he's hurt. You know, thanks to her.
Thanks to her. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
But he still shows up. He's still like, that's my woman. I'm gonna stick with her. And even when there's a possibility for another woman, he's like, you know, you're cool, but that's still my girl. I'm stick with her no matter what. So
yeah, which is cool. Yeah, I liked him, and then I liked. I did like. There's that one part. The two more parts that I really enjoyed was when they're in that other god's mind.
Oh
And
yeah,
Loki
yeah.
had that like monologue.
That was a very good episode.
Yeah, that was
They were
great.
all getting messed with. Yeah,
Right,
or the two of them. Yeah.
And he was saying like, he's like, I'm the reason you guys have something to blame everything on. You know, I'm that whole monologue.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Dude, this is getting real. Like, he's really putting it all in line. Like, this is who I am, and that's, you know,
Right.
that's the thing. I like that part a lot. And then I enjoyed the stuff with Odin at the very end, where she shows him the future. And it's like, it's kind of like showing us why the Nordic gods aren't around anymore.
Yeah,
You know?
and it takes a very when you see it, it's a little bit shocking because you don't necessarily see it coming. Which I'll give you props for that, because you don't really see it coming.
This is where it's going, right? Yeah.
It makes sense, you know, once you give it a second and you process it, you're like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
Christianity wins out.
somebody shows up, wink, wink.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And it's like, wow, you guys brought him?
Right, yeah.
And brought him into the show.
And regardless of you know, in this world or in our world or wherever you believe in, the way it happened in history, Christianity took over and rewrote the history books. You know what I mean? And did away with the Greek gods and the Roman gods and the Norse gods. Yeah. And like if you were like to tie that into this fantasy world, that's what killed them off.
Yeah, technically that's what did it. Like,
need people to believe in them, right?
And those are two different, like, quote unquote, they're two different worlds. Yeah. You know, but like you said, the reality is that's what put the kibosh.
Yeah, exactly. The kibosh on these gods, and that's what won out. That's what won this.
And they show
religion.
it too, which is great. They show people like throwing in their trinkets and all that
burning
kind of
them,
stuff, and burning
these
them.
like churches coming up, these cities coming up.
Yeah, and then it shows like, you know, 46 and, you know, Maple Street
right,
in New York.
Yeah, right.
It's like, that place, right there?
Yeah, there, specifically, yeah. But that was a cool. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Trying to tie in why the Norse mythology thing went away.
Yeah, it made sense.
Christianity came, paganism and all kind of stuff went away when Christianity came into the picture. You know.
Yeah.
Which is like also like this Norse mythology stuff is older. You know, it's all older. This stuff's way older than this. You know, this new age religion. You know what I mean? Right. But it was like really interesting to see that kind of tied. And I loved that part a lot.
It was pretty meta. It was
pretty,
very
meta,
and it worked. Like I said, the initial shock of it,
I was like, this is out of left field.
Yeah. But like, you know, then like 3, 2, 1, it's like,
shit. Yeah, that makes sense.
That is what did it.
I don't know if people really worship Odin anymore so much. Maybe, I don't know.
Right. Well, there are some. We don't want to talk about them.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Right. But yeah, that was like the reality. That was like the real world reality. Of this show. And it was showing like this is how it ends for you, Odin. Like you end just like those other guys. Was unloved and unworshipped, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And they
like,
pretty much rotted away, essentially.
Yeah,
that's what the claim was.
Right, yeah.
Which is, again, a cool thing, because I didn't know anything about this other, you know, branch of gods or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right, yeah.
There's a lot about Norse mythology that I did not know.
Right, that I'd like to know more about. Yeah. But you know, outside of that, those two things, though, like the characters, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of hard to care so much about them.
Yeah.
And they even down to the point where they told the stories around the fire.
Yeah.
That was also Rebel
again,
Moon. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was 100% Rebel Moon.
Like, it started out okay with them showing like the Loki story and they tell the stories. Like, oh, this is cool, but then it started becoming personal about their own personal stories. I was like, okay, now we're trying to do that.
I see what you're doing.
Rebel Moon thing again. Yeah, like, that didn't work last time, man.
Right.
So
but for some reason, you're in bed with it. You think this is
sitting around a fire telling a story. This is what everybody needs. This is how you grow closer to
Man, it was so much. The only thing missing was they were sitting at a table instead of a fire. That was the only difference. Yeah, so, as soon as you're watching it, you're like, oh,
it's impossible to not make this. Especially when it just happened. The Rebel Moon just happened. It's really hard to not make those connections, you know?
Yeah. There's no excuse.
So those issues with like character development and the storylines and like those are still kind of messy. Like they're still kind of messy. It's easier to accept as an animation about Norse mythology or a story within Norse mythology. It's a little bit easier to accept it, I think, because I think visually you can hide a lot of that, but can't hide all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And overall, I think the story felt rushed at the beginning. It seemed like it felt rushed at the end of it too, when they kind of wrapped everything up. It's like, okay, now what? So this is now happening, kind of thing. It's where all of a sudden, and if you're gonna watch it, I don't necessarily spoil it for you.
I'll spoil it for you. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
They all end up in. Well, not all, but
secret ends in Valhalla.
Yeah,
which I was like, well, why did the other girl end up not going to Valhalla because of her?
I was wondering about that too, right? Because she had a god weapon, but the god weapons apparently, or possibly, they each have their own curse. So, because I thought the same thing, I'm like, well, wait a second, she had a cursed weapon too. Yeah, but I think that was the curse of her particular weapon, and her. I think Sigurd's particular god weapon. I think her curse might have been. And I don't know for 100% for a fact that you couldn't kill whatever your ultimate target was, you couldn't kill it. You know what I mean? So if she could kill 100 people, but if her goal was to kill Thor, she maybe couldn't kill somebody with that particular weapon. So it's like, wow, you're not helping me at all.
Yeah,
weapon,
true. Yeah, weapon. Yeah,
for nothing.
Right. So when they end up, they just end up in Valhalla together. Her and Thor.
So are they gonna work it out or like?
Yeah, it ended a little abruptly. Like I would like to see because like even when Thor, after Baldur or whatever his name is, gets killed. Yeah. Like Thor has that like kind of breakdown. I was kind of curious. I was like, okay, where's this going?
Yeah,
where's
that's his brother.
Where's all this pain coming from? Like where's this gonna go? And then whatever Freya. I don't know.
Just take some.
Do they have access to Valhalla?
I would imagine the gods do. Yeah. I don't see why not. I mean, I know because basically I know they all kind of work for Odin. Yeah. So if Odin has access to it, I would figure the other gods do as well. Is my opinion.
Because then it's like, but then it's like who runs it? Like who because Valhalla is like heaven, right? Essentially.
Yeah. For warriors.
For warriors, and then like. But like, if the gods are bad and they're fighting the gods, and then they're bringing the Valhalla warriors down to fight for them, like I was like, who runs it? Can they just be like, none of you guys get to Valhalla because you're against us? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It seemed to me like the reason why that one chick shouldn't have gone to Valhalla is because she was fighting against, the Norse gods. Yeah. If you're not on our side, we're not going to take you up to hang out with us.
In Valhalla,
kind of thing. And again, I'm not sure if that's how Valhalla works. Maybe if you're just, in the vicinity of a Valkyrie kind of thing. If Valkyries are around and you die in battle, you go to heaven. So maybe heaven's a big mix.
Yeah, maybe.
Whatever.
I heard that works.
Yeah.
Like what was gonna happen to Leif and what happened to the dwarf? What happened to all the Fenrir? What happened to all of them? Did they end up going to Valhalla or
Very
what?
True.
What happened to all them? They got killed,
Yeah.
So Leif hasn't gotten killed yet, but Fenrir and
that dwarf man, his whole thing was like, I'm just trying to get to Loki, and then he gets to him and he gets stopped. Yeah. Yeah, that sucked for him so much.
Right, yeah.
Because he had like a legitimate reason to kill Loki. And to me, on some levels, Loki needs to get killed. Like Loki needs to get taken out. And then he just got robbed of it, and then because his friend got in the way, then he ends up getting killed.
Just kill him, I was like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah, you need to go kill Loki now, you jerk. But anyways,
but so it did end a little abruptly. Yeah, clearly probably set him for another season. I know Zach had talked about. He already has a.
You're on a first name basis.
Zach, Zach.
Nice.
Zack Snyder, you guys know who I'm talking about. Zach, little Zachy boy.
You're right.
Little Zachariah. He already has a plan for how it's all going to play out. He already, he's a forward thinker, as he always plans everything out. So he says. I know there's a plan to go forth. I'm not sure what that plan is, but like at the very end, Thor does say like we're both pawns. I don't know what that means.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, you guys are going to be friends now. You guys are going to, have a chance to work it out and be cool with each other. Fight the real bad guy,
or stop Ragnarok, or whatever the case is. Whatever the situation's going to be. But there's obviously more story to tell, I think.
Yeah.
So
there is more story to tell, and I guess the $1 million question is, like, do you want to see more? Mm-hmm. I'm going to assume that Netflix is probably going to pick up a second season. I'm going to assume. Because the show wasn't that bad. The show wasn't so horrible that it's like, people are like just waving their, fist at it. It's one of those things where it's just, it's not bad, but it's not necessarily, as epic as you think it might be or should be, in my opinion.
Okay.
So do you want to see a second season? Do you want to see
I'm all in, man.
That's cool.
I enjoyed it, man. There are problems with it.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm putting my own Zack Snyder bias into it as well for him to finally get a win, in my opinion.
Yeah, which I'm happy for.
Yeah, but there really wasn't a point when because I had to watch it in like 2 days. Because we decided on Thursday, like, all right, we'll do Twilight of the Gods. So I started watching it.
We decided a long time ago.
Yeah, we're organized. Yeah. But I started watching it, and I was pleasantly surprised about it. Yeah. I was ready for a bomb. I was ready for something I wasn't going to care about, characters I didn't care about, which that's part of it. But I was ready for it to just be like another Zack Snyder, personal kind of ego booster, or whatever he's been doing. It didn't feel like that. I felt like it was a pretty good team up with Jay Oliva, and like I feel like it was a good put together show, and I had fun watching. There wasn't a point in the show where I was just like, I don't waste my time. I don't want to watch this anymore. Which I was cool with. So I'm excited to see another one.
There were some parts of the show that I was definitely kind of put off about, or kind of like, why are you doing that, or that doesn't make sense, or this is kind of kind of boring or whatever. Like I said, some of those characters felt I don't know, I don't want to say they were necessarily like kind of two-dimensional, but they didn't feel all that interesting. They put a history behind them, but they didn't necessarily feel all that interesting to me. That being said, if they put out a second season, I would 100% watch it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be like holding my breath until the second season comes out. Because the way this kind of ended on a cliffhanger, it's not a cliffhanger that left me like wanting more necessarily, know, but the show was still, it was good enough. It wasn't to me, it wasn't bad in the sense that like I was angry watching it kind of thing, or I was just sitting there like, that's wrong, pointing out stuff. Yeah. The good thing about it is maybe that a lot of people don't know anything about Norse mythology, so they're able to bring in a lot of things that I was kind of curious about, that, and I guess one of the things I'm curious about too is like how much of this was real and how much of it was made up. Like that's what I'm really curious about, because I don't want to watch this.
All of it's made up, but
well, yeah. I don't want to watch this show and thinking like, oh, that's Norse mythology, and that's just something like that whole river that they're on. Yeah, I'm gonna lean on saying that it's something they made up for the show. Obviously, I don't know. Yeah, but that's the direction I'm leading. The whole thing about Odin's horse. Like, again, I know that's an actual part of the story. So that I know is real. Him turning into a mare and all that kind of stuff, I know that's real. So that kind of stuff is cool. And that I like learning about, the actual Norse mythology when I'm watching these shows. But I guess maybe just because maybe it's just me, because I don't know enough about it. I'm wondering, what's real and what's not. Maybe some people care about it. Maybe some people don't even care about that. So you might find the show entertaining for that reason. Again, a lot of sex, a lot of violence, which I like seeing. It just, I don't know. It didn't necessarily do so much for me. The sex aspect of it, I didn't need it to be graphic, I suppose.
I really didn't need to be in there at all, but I mean, I guess just
but I mean, I get your point though. I mean, it kind of shows like that's who they are. That's their nature of it, but. And I guess, I don't know, maybe showing it just makes it a little more visceral. So
I see, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you want to give this thing as a score?
Man, I don't know, man. I did enjoy the show overall.
Okay, good.
So I'm probably sitting at like an 82.
Oh, maybe. Wow, nice. Yeah, 81, nice. Okay.
82. And I'm maybe at not quite Drop What You're Doing. I don't know if it's that good. Yeah. But definitely stream it. Put it on your list. Yeah. like watch it, give it a chance. If you're a fan of Zack Snyder, if you are interested in Norse mythology,
adult animation,
this is a great show for you, I think.
I should say animation for adults. Adult animation sounds funky.
Animation for adults, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something with three-dimensional characters and an engaging storyline, this maybe isn't
it. It's going to be a little weak on
this
there.
Probably isn't it, But, if you want to watch some characters go on a Norse mythological adventure and fight Norse beings and gods.
I mean, and it's a great adventure. I mean, they're going to all these different places that me as the viewer that I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
So it does kind of make it exciting that, where are we going now kind of thing. It's like, oh, that's something I don't know anything about.
Right.
So
and some of the names in there, like, oh, we're the Niflheim. That's the place, I think.
Right,
I recall the name of.
That I've heard in,
Norse, so in passing, in Norse mythology
Odenheim and.
Right, yeah. There's these places that I'm really curious about. And I think that's probably why the ending I was okay with. I was a little bit,
okay.
I was a little bit cut. I was a little bit, oh, shit, how's this going to end? I was like, oh, okay, well, that was a little anticlimactic.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, it's like, well, what is the fight in Valhalla now? Maybe there's something there. Maybe something's going on in heaven that's not right, that needs to get fixed. I don't know, but maybe there's some more Norse shit that I want to learn about.
Yeah,
that maybe is going to be delivered on in the second season.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I think I overall solid run. I had fun with it, and not so much story character, but action,
cool.
blood, violence, threesomes. Big titted bird women, like give me all that. Give me some more of that. Yeah, all that stuff. Right. But
the Valkyries.
Yeah, bring me some more of those.
Valkyries.
Yeah,
very healthy.
They dressed them well. Yeah, or lack thereof, I guess. But yeah.